Hi everyone, here we are back again. Today it's my 11th video. Can you believe it? The time is going, and now the story that I have for you today is going to be also a story about what happened to me after my theater story that I mentioned last time. Okay, now I take you back to where I finished the last video I've done for you. It was like this. I was in a theater play where I was actually based somewhere where I had to stay away from the group that I was performing with. So now this story continues. While I was busy with this theater, it was so interesting because I was working parallel as a model too, because I modeled, same time I did also this theater. So the theater was actually occurring on weekends, and I had time for the fashion shows and for my advertisings I've done for the companies, for the clothing and etc., and for cosmetics. This was so beautiful because I could balance myself, I could find the time for myself and do things accordingly. So while I was busy with the modeling, at the same time with my theater, there was another audition. This audition was based on a film, the very first film for the black community. So I was sent to this casting. When I came to this casting, obviously it was for black people. And I was one of them again in this big, massive group of people. So this casting was so interesting because they were looking for different actors and actresses. And obviously I had to show myself during this casting. And then obviously what happened with me, I got the lead role in a film. Can you imagine? I've never done a film before, but I was so really, I was so sure of myself. I knew exactly that I could handle that. If I have to act, I have to act. If I have to smile, I have to smile. If I have to do this, I could be able to do it. So I got a lead role in a film. And this was the very, very first film in South Africa for the black people, which have been, could have been actually showed on television. And this theater, after this theater story, can you imagine? I come from so many different kind of categories, you know, from the theater story and then coming into now the filming, the acting. And now I saw myself, wow, now I'm becoming an actress. Wow, that's going to be cool. I've never seen this before. I've never just stood in front of a camera and got filmed. And then on top of that, I got a lead role. Wow, the universe and God, the creators, they meant it good with me because they knew this girl has something. And obviously, when I got this lead role in this film, I was so happy. I got a role that actually suited me. It was like it was written for me. And I got this lead role and I done this film and it was so beautiful. And then after all this film was also a success. It was a success, the whole of South Africa. It was the first film that was ever shown on the television for the black people. And this film that I've done, it was done by this South African broadcasting company. And they gave me the films after I've done this beautiful filming, because I've done it so well and I've done it, and then they gave me all this. This is all my evidence, people. This is my evidence about this very, very film I've done in South Africa. And it was screened on the television. It was screened on the television, and the people, they loved this film because it was about 13 episodes, and I got the lead role and I've done my role perfect. And the whole of South Africa, it was Tina here, Albertina here, Albertina there. It was so beautiful. And imagine, while I was doing a parallel job with my acting, with my modeling, and it was everything just like it was harmonized. The time was not disturbing. It was good for me. But now something happened to me while I was modeling. It was so something which has also kind of struck me. While I was modeling on stage, people, I was modeling, walking, showing my clothes. While I was walking there on that ramp, showing those clothes, those garments, there was this man sitting in there, in the crowd. And I thought, wow, the photographers are all over me. And they were making pictures here, pictures there. Every time I come, I was like posing, for the next photographer or the next journalist. It was so beautiful. Not knowing that I am actually posing for someone who was not actually a journalist, but it was a man that came from Switzerland into South Africa on business. And I thought he was there as a journalist or as a photographer. Then something happened. This man was interested in me. And this man thought, I'm going to give you your pictures. You are a fantastic model. I love the way you work. And I was obviously so happy with myself. I said, wow, even the white photographers, they are crazy about me. Not knowing he was not a photographer. But then, obviously, as I mentioned last time, black and white in South Africa, it was forbidden. Black women, black men, or vice versa, it was forbidden in South Africa because of this apartheid, because of this law, which was called Immorality Act. So, can you imagine? This guy wanted to date me, and I also thought, what am I going to do? Where am I going to move with him? Because it is forbidden, because I know the law. I know about this apartheid. I'm not allowed to meet a white man. But then I made some kind of a style how I can meet him again. So imagine we dated each other, but I was scared to meet this guy. I didn't know how to meet him because I was a model. I was obviously nicely dressed. And then I had to think, how do I meet this man? Because in South Africa, black and white was forbidden. We were not allowed to mix because they said blacks and whites are not allowed to mix with the white people, but the colors were allowed to, the Indians were allowed to, but we black people, we weren't allowed to mix with the white people. But guess what? I knew what I would do if I want to meet this man. I actually disguised. I told myself, I'm gonna wear like a maid. A maid in South Africa is one of those women that cleans for the white people. They wear their different clothes. They wear like chiffons on their head with long gowns on them, So I told myself, I'm going to disguise myself. I'm going to walk like a maid. I'm going to look like somebody who's cleaning, so the police mustn't think that I'm actually doing something which is forbidden. So I was brave enough that I could manage to meet this man. And I met him, and I was dressed like a maid. That's how I was managing to meet him, because it was forbidden. This racism, it really came that far that I've seen. I am black. I'm not allowed to meet any color. But when we do fashion shows, we were mixed. But when it comes to different kind of genders, like men, women, whatever, it was not allowed. So I managed to take a risk, and I risked to meet this man. Then that's when I've realized that I'm going into danger. But this danger I was going through, I told myself, I am going for it. Whether allowed or not, but I managed. I disguised myself, and I dressed myself as a maid. And then I met this guy in a hotel, but walking in there as a maid, and then after, I had to hide myself in a toilet to take the clothes off so I can go to the guy, because the hotel was also kind of multiracial. It was blacks were allowed a bit, but with some kind of, one had to be careful, So I met the guy in this hotel for a drink, but then when I had to go home, I had to think now, my bag is here, I have to go back into the toilet and dress like a maid to be able to walk in the streets of Johannesburg, because it was not allowed. Meeting this man, it was for me the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life, because he didn't know that blacks and whites are not allowed in South Africa to walk together or whatever. But then this story became so far that now I'm gonna tell the story the next video, because it's gonna be even more interesting, because people, what we are experiencing in our country because of our skin color, it was going on and on and on. And then with this racism, it really made me to be strong. And I knew exactly one of these days I'm gonna stand in front of whoever who wants to confront me, accusing me of having a relationship with a white man, because I did it. I did it. I tried. And I told the police, do what you want. Take me to the jail again if you want to. But then somehow the angels were all over me. And then they gave me a warning. But then this story continues. So thank you so much for watching. So I'm gonna tell you the continuation about the story next Friday, and I thank you so much for taking your time to listen, because with my story, it's every time exciting, because things are happening, and now you're gonna get to truly, truly, truly know me exactly, where I came from and where I ended up and where am I sitting at this present moment. So thank you so much, and see you next Friday. Be blessed, stay blessed, and I love you all. Mwah! My love to you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.